Go ahead and call the meeting to order. This thing on? I guess it is. It's not.
Let's see.
First item up is closed meeting. Be it resolved, the Montgomery County Board of Supervisors of Montgomery County, Virginia hereby enters into a closed meeting for the purpose of discussing the following. Section 2.2-3711, discussion concerning a prospective business or industry or the expansion of an existing business or industry where no previous announcement has been made of the business or industry's interest in locating or expanding its facilities in the community. Project number 2021-08, Project 2021-21, and Project 2021-22. Discussion, consideration, or interviews of prospective candidates for employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, disciplining, or resignation of specific officers, appointees, or employees of any public body. One, the Planning Commission. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Secretary?
Ms. Blevins?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Chair Frizikowski?
Aye.
6 ayes.
We are in closed session. A motion to come out of closed session.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Secretary?
Mr. King?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Ms. Blevins?
Aye.
Chair Jakowski?
Aye.
6 ayes.
Next up is the certification of the closed meeting. Be it resolved, the Board of Supervisors hereby ends their closed meeting to return to regular session. Whereas the Board of Supervisors in Montgomery County has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And whereas Section 2.2-3711 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the Board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Montgomery County, Virginia, hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which this certification resolution applies. And 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion conveying the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the board. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, you guys are getting pretty quick tonight. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Secretary?
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Ms. Blevins?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Chair Jakowski?
Aye.
6 ayes.
All right, next up is our invocation and pledge, and as tradition has it,
All right, please.
yeah.
Let us pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next up is our public address. We don't have anybody signed up for public address, but if anybody would like to come forward and speak, you would get 4 minutes. Need to just give us your name and your address and come forward. Seeing nobody come forward, we're going to go ahead and close public address. Next up is addendum.
No addendum.
No addendum. Next up is the items of consent. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion of consent items? Hearing none. Madam Secretary?
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Ms. Blevins?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Chair Jakowski?
Aye.
6 ayes.
All right, next up under new business, vacation of various public drainage and utility easements on Mill Point Road.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none.
None.
Madam Secretary?
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Ms. Blevins?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Chair Jakowski?
Aye.
6 ayes.
Next up is the VDOT Secondary Road 6-year plan. Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Madam Secretary, if you'll call the roll.
Ms. Blevins?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Chair Jakowski?
Aye.
6 ayes.
Next item up, seek State Board of Elections for waiver to keep split precincts for November 2021 general election. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Madam Secretary?
Mr. King?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Ms. Blevins?
Aye.
Chair Jakowski?
Aye.
6 ayes.
Next up is the Montgomery County Public Schools appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
What?
Do you want any discussion?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Looks like we're good. Madam Secretary, call a roll.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Ms. Blevins?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Chair Jackowski?
Aye.
6 ayes.
Next item up is reports. County Attorney,
Yay.
No.
coming forth here.
Oh, I feel faint.
I know.
Not even does he get a report, he got handouts. Thank you, sir.
It's not funny.
What I have before you is just a proposed resolution. As you guys know, back in March 17th, Craig, as the Director of Emergency Management, declared a local emergency. This board then confirmed it as the code requires a few days later on March 22nd, 2020. Now the governor is ending his declaration effective the end of this month, and we need to do the same. And so what I'm asking, if you would consider tonight, just adopting this resolution that basically says the board declares an end to the local emergency declared on March 17th, 2020, due to COVID, that's effective at the end of this month.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have 2 motions in 2 seconds.
Everybody
Is there any discussion?
Thank you.
Hearing no discussion, Madam Secretary, if you call roll.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Ms. Blevins?
Aye.
Chair Jackowski?
Aye.
6 ayes.
Next up, County Administrator, who is hopefully getting better as we speak.
He has no report.
Oh,
Oh, let's call him.
Him on the phone.
I be watching.
all right. Well, we now go to our board, and we'll go down the list, starting off with Supervisor King.
Don't have no report, but I would like to congratulate Auburn Strand for all their victories in their tournaments. And Eastmont, but I'll leave that for Supervisor Steve to elaborate on. That's all.
Supervisor Blevins.
Echoed the same congratulations to Auburn baseball and softball, and to Eastern Montgomery High for the soccer. And also just wanted to wish everybody a happy and safe 4th of July, Independence Day, and remind that all the consolidated sites will be closed on Sunday, July the 4th, and will reopen on Monday, July the 5th.
There you go, Sherry.
All right, Supervisor DeMonts is not with us tonight. Probably got sand between her toes or something. All right, Supervisor Shepherd.
I don't have a report. I have a question or two to ask Miss Angie, I guess, since Craig's not here. Actually, one of the PSA employees came to me with a question, and I told him I'd get him an answer. Are there any other departments that have on-call people that are paid for being on call?
Yes.
Do you know how many hours they're paid and when?
No, but I can find that out for you.
What I was told was that the PSA members are not getting the same hours,
Okay.
not
We'll
as
look
many
into that.
hours for being on call.
Right.
So just need to take a look at that.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right.
All right, Supervisor Bone.
To follow on Supervisor King and Blevins' congratulations. I think the whole VHSL, or however that is all over. And I think Montgomery County just kind of swept it all up. So super duper proud of all the different schools and teams that won state championships. Awesome job. And be safe out there for the 4th of July. It's always easy to kind of let things get out of control, but we'd love you even more if you didn't. So thank you.
Vice Chair Biggs.
Echoing congratulations to all the different teams that represented Montgomery County so well. And echoing Sarah's, please be safe this 4th of July. And then the only other additional thing I have to say is we had our New River Valley Community Services Board meeting, last Thursday, and our newly elected chair is Joe Young, who a lot of you know from the detention home. Not that he's in it, he runs it. And, and Vicki Collins, who is the head of social services over in Radford, is the vice chair. So Sarah will be working with those fine folks. When she comes in August, will be your first meeting. And that's it.
All right, very good. I get to take up all the rest of the time now.
Yeah, do you have that 50-page document?
I
you were-
do, and I'm
Okay.
going to start reading it now.
Okay.
I have to echo what has already been said about our high school teams. What a astounding year. I mean, in a lot of different sports, so it's pretty good. But I really have to brag on the Eastern Montgomery girls soccer team. I have a special attachment to that team, and it's called the granddaughter. But they went through a season where nobody scored on them. 14 games, nobody scored on them. They went to the state championship, and the other team was able to get 1 point, but they were defeated 5-1. So that is just a phenomenal season that I hope repeats itself next year. It's my understanding they're not losing many players, so we might have another championship. And secondly, I wanted to explain the email I sent you all that showed the truck driving in the middle of the road. This is all a part of the ongoing issue with the transition from a trash train to building a road and having trucks come in. The trucks that were in the picture are trucks that are using Bradshaw Road to get to the Smith Gap landfill in Roanoke County. They will continue to use that road until the private road is finished. Then all traffic will go on the private road. The private road's being built partly on the train track bed, and I'm thinking that probably by beginning of August that project should be completed. It's very frustrating to the folks that live out there, especially the ones that didn't want the train to begin with, and it came anyways, and now it's being ripped up to be replaced by trucks that are going to be running pretty much most of the day, because they don't just bring in trash, they haul in gravel when they're doing things at the landfill, when they're closing off cells and what have you. They also have tanker trucks that haul the leachate. That's that disgusting smelly water that comes out of a landfill. They haul that away. So it's going to be busy, and a lot of these folks live fairly close to that track, and they're pretty frustrated. But the picture basically shows that Bradshaw Road is very narrow. It's really not made for commercial vehicles. It has several little small bridges that I don't know how they're able to put that kind of weight on them, but and folks are concerned out there, and I intend, as Supervisor King suggested, to talk to the sheriff's office and see if maybe they can do some extra patrolling out there, but with the police officers being as shorthanded as everybody else, I don't know how that's going to work out. So I'm hoping that, keep our fingers crossed that there is no serious accidents out there. I mean, it's a curvy, hilly road, and you come around, and of course the big concern earlier in the year was if a school bus came around a corner and there's a dump truck or a tanker truck straddling the center, that's not going to be good. So we're hoping that that situation takes care of itself. But a lot of citizens very frustrated with it. I've tried to talk to the Roanoke Valley Resource Authority as to how we can mitigate that. They've had public meetings, and it just seems like we are stuck in this situation that we're in. So hopefully, I really don't want time to speed up because I'm getting a little bit older, but it should be a problem that takes care of itself eventually. One other thing I wanted to bring you all up to speed on is the Fire and Rescue Commission. We have requested from, and I think a lot of you know what I'm going to say, but we have requested from the Virginia Department of Fire Programs a thorough evaluation of our fire and rescue system. As you all know, we have a volunteer system, but as time goes on, and if you don't get enough volunteers, then it's getting tight to cover all the calls. And if there's anything that we do here, and that is important, it's taking care of our citizens' health and well-being. So with that, we hope to get a very objective look at what we have and where we should go next. It's really looking like that we're probably going to be leaning towards a mixture of paid and volunteers, but we want the fire programs to come out with that. Our 3 rescue squads in the county, Shawsville, Reiner, and McCoy, are really, really stretched thin. And they're the ones that we're worried about right now, but so far, our system, our folks in our system are really pulled together and come up with some creative ways of covering the calls, and that includes the 911 center. So that's something that all of us can be proud about, that we have folks that not only come up with good ideas, but are willing to put in the time and do the work. So that's just a little quick update on what's going on. We did put out a RFP to get a paid staff down in Shawsville. We had 1 response, and that's all I know on that one. I don't know where that's going to go, but it was from a company, I think they're out of Norfolk. Yeah, or Portsmouth or someplace. They're pretty far away, but of course they would establish a truck and a crew, so that really doesn't make any difference. But that's where we stand on that. So that's a work in progress, very important work. And we hope to have a solution soon, and then a permanent solution as we move forward. So with that said, if there's any follow-up from anyone?
I'm just want to comment on what you said. It's just critically important as our county grows. And we're having so many calls on 81 as usual. So I just think I'm really glad that we're undertaking this. I think it's really planning for not just now, but the future.
Yeah, and the fire programs, they don't come in and say, you're not doing this right, or you should be doing this. They come in and they look at everything. There are things that we're doing that are great. Our equipment is one of the envies of counties around us. We have a lot of good equipment, and we take care of it. So there's going to be good things that come out of it that'll make everybody feel better, and then there's going to be some suggestions as to where we can go in the future to do the best that we can for our citizens, and that's really what it's all about. So, yeah, we look forward to it. I've read a couple of their reports they've done in other counties, and they're very thorough. So we look forward to seeing that. They won't actually start the investigation, I think it's September, and it takes about 60 to 90 days to get it done. So hopefully by the end of the year we'll have something. So.
And we're very fortunate as a county with this population and growing population that we still have a volunteer fire and rescue.
Yeah.
Other localities just aren't able to sustain that. And so we've been blessed for many years. And so, of course, our priority will be the safety and service of our citizens. And that's something we're going to have to take a hard look at. So we'll look forward to that evaluation. And again, as always, thank you for our first responders who are the heartbeat and serve this community and train, and we want to make sure that our service is a priority.
You're absolutely right, and y'all have mentioned it. We are growing. We're a growing county, and we continue to grow. That's a good thing, I think. And but that means increasing calls. And so when you cover them 24 hours a day, it takes people. It takes a lot of people to get that done. See, you made me talk so long now that I thought of something else I should probably talk about. I'm on page 48 of the 50 page. I sent you all another email that actually came from Sharon Scott, and it's in regards to the MSA. And for the life of me, I know M stands for metropolitan. Is it service area? Do you remember? Statistical area. That is something that is really important, and we've mentioned it here before, that I think it's the federal, I'm trying to think of the department name, that oversees that and wants to change the numbers so that we will lose some areas. And when you lose those areas, you lose the ability to get projects from the federal government. So it's really important that we maintain what we've got. And there's apparently 2 bills out, one in Congress and one in the Senate, that proposes to cap the number at 50,000, which would really be good for us and surrounding areas. And I think in the email I mentioned that the Roanoke Valley TPO, which we have a seat on and vote on, and I serve on, is a organization that receives a fairly large amount of federal money, And I was really hoping, since we started talking about the valley-to-valley trail system, that this would be something that Montgomery County could benefit from, because the area that the TPO covers just dips into the Elliston area. And so I really don't think they're going to be spending money on Route 460, because it's pretty well maintained and it's not really going to be widened or anything different's going to happen to it or be proposed for it. So it would be nice to stay in there until we can get some money from them. And these bills would definitely make a difference. And I would like to see us as a board maybe write a letter to our 2 senators and our congressman and tell them that we are in favor of this. And I know the chamber, in the email, I think I copied you the letter that the chamber was going to write. So I think something similar to that would be a good thing.
We'll work with the planning
If everybody
department.
is,
Yes.
okay. We have consensus, so. All right, well, let me see, what else can we talk about? My vacation, yeah, no, we won't go there. All right, this meeting is hereby adjourned.
I thought you'd talk about art.